I'm not sure what I'm doing to keep pushing it away. Everything I try fails. You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about those moments of happiness, of clarity, those brief moments where everything falls into place. And you finally say, I have it. I got it. Now I understand. Only to go to sleep, wake up the next morning, back to the world of distractions and responsibilities and paying bills, sitting in traffic, the stress, the noise, and the noise takes over. And you wonder where that brief moment of clarity went. And you ask yourself, why do I keep spiritually failing? Why can't I stay in that place of centering and clarity and alignment? Why does the window keep shutting on me? But what if I were to tell you that it's possible that that shutting, that closing of the window is actually part of the process? The Zohar, the ancient heart of Jewish mysticism, describes this through a mysterious parable called the maiden in the palace. The seeker catches glimpses of her through a window. Then she disappears, then appears again, only to hide once more. At first it sounds frustrating, but the Zohar is revealing something profound about the rhythm of the soul itself and how it grows while here in this world. To explain this mystery, the Zohar gives us an image, a parable. It is like a beloved maiden, beautiful in appearance and graceful in form, who is hidden deep within her palace. She has a single lover whom no man knows of, but is known only to her in secret. Out of the love that this lover bears for her, he passes by the gate of her house constantly, lifting his eyes to every side. She knows that her lover is constantly circling the gate of her house. So what does she do? She opens a tiny opening in that hidden palace where she is, reveals her face to her lover, and immediately retreats and hides. All those who were there near the lover did not see and did not perceive. Only the lover alone saw, and his heart and his soul and his inner being went out after her. And he knows that out of the love she bears him, she revealed herself to him for one moment to awaken love toward her. The deeper message is that spiritual life unfolds through a rhythm of revelation and concealment. But the concealment is not rejection. It deepens longing, refines the seeker, and transforms fleeting inspiration into lasting devotion. The goal is not merely to see the maiden once, but to become the kind of person who continues seeking her even after the window closes. So what does this have to do with the rhythm of the soul, or the growth of the soul? Well, what the Zohar is saying is that maybe spiritual growth is not only during the open window moments of revelation, but maybe it's what happens when the window closes, when it shuts. In the parable, you see that the man, the lover, is circling the palace over and over again every time the windows are shut, right? So maybe that is the growth. Maybe that's the time of integration. After a profound moment of revelation, you need the intervals of the space, and the intervals of time between revelation and revelation. In that space, the windows shut. That's the time we internalize the lesson. That's the time we make the truth we have just come upon and make it ours. Something to think about, something to enter our thoughts, our behavior, our choices, something that becomes us. It's not enough to encounter the light. Hashem wants us to be a vessel for the light, so that the light comes through us. So maybe it's not only about ecstasy, but spiritual growth, soul growth, is more about transformation. Maybe that rhythm is woven into creation itself. The ocean moves in tides. The world moves through day and night. The week moves towards Shabbat and back into ordinary time. Even the human heart only lives because it contracts and expands. So perhaps the neshama, the soul, works the same way. The Zohar teaches that concealment is not always rejection. Sometimes the hiding is part of the relationship itself, not as punishment, but expansion. Because a flash of truth alone does not change a person. Anyone can feel elevated for a moment, but can you carry that truth into disappointment, exhaustion, routine, and ordinary life? That is the real work. Think of an elastic band. If the two ends are touching, there is no energy. The further you pull them apart, the more potential energy is created. So the distance between you and your moment of truth is what creates the power to snap back, but snapping back with a force you wouldn't have had otherwise. The yearning is the tension that prepares you for a massive breakthrough. The farther the soul feels from what it longs for, the greater the capacity it develops to return with strength, vigor, depth, and intensity. The Zohar is not romanticizing pain. It is revealing that when distance already exists in human life, through confusion, silence, uncertainty, exile, and loss, that distance itself can become sacred when it awakens deeper longing instead of spiritual numbness. So one of the things that we spoke about is distance creates passion. It builds up anticipation to connect and momentum and intensity. And we need that. And the reason we need that is because anything that has continuous exposure, you no longer see. So for example, if you've ever lived near a national park or a beautiful cliff view or beach view where people drive up for sunsets and take pictures and come from long distances, and you live right near that monument or that national park or sunset view, and maybe once or twice a year you go, because it loses its value when it's overly exposed. God forbid this, and it's tragic. God forbid it should happen in marriage, but it happens with people family members who see each other every day, husband and wife, spouses. When something is overly exposed, meaning you have access to it, it loses its value. You stop seeing it. Miracles in Israel, military victories against severely outnumbered by enemies, and just the victories we have. So Hashem decided that we're going to do a little bit of a hide and seek with the creation, the creator and the creation, which we're now going to go into the next subject about the maiden herself. We've spoke so far about the man, the lover, who circles around the palace when the windows are shut, anticipating even a curtain glimpse of his beloved, the maiden. In Zohar, there are archetypes. There are symbols that appear and reappear throughout the text. Anytime you have the maiden, we're talking about the Shekhinah. The Shekhinah is Hashem's divine presence within creation. So when you are able to have an encounter, a very moving, profound encounter of spirit, of the divine presence, that is the glimpse you have of the Shekhinah. The window is open momentarily. And
The Zohar, when it introduces this parable, it's not just in context of life and the dynamic between the maiden and her lover, but it's also a dynamic that is when we study Torah, it's an approach we have to learning the text itself.
In the same parable of the maiden, we only looked at the first half. The second half begins to talk about its application to the Torah itself. So it is with the word of Torah. She does not reveal herself except to her lover. The Torah knows that the one who is wise of heart circles the gate of her house every day. What does she do? She reveals her face to him from within the palace and beckons to him with a hint, and immediately returns to her place and is hidden. All those who are there, they do not know and they do not perceive. Only he alone perceives, and his heart and his soul and his inner being go out after her. Thus the Torah reveals herself and is hidden, and goes in love toward her lover to awaken love with him.
When you learn Torah, the window will not always be open. More often than not, the window is closed. And so you have to learn and dig and search to earn that glimpse when the window is opened and you have an encounter. You have a momentary glimpse of the Shekhinah. But this doesn't happen on the surface layer of the text, the literal. It doesn't always happen. You have to go through what we call the Pardes. The Pardes is again another archetype. It literally means orchard, where they grow things, but it's related to the ancient Persian or ancient Greek word paradise, Pardes. And the Pardes are different layers of the text. Anyone familiar with Torah study already knows about the Pardes. It represents the different layers of the text. The Pardes, the Pei, Pardes is an acronym. Pei is pshat, the literal meaning. Resh is remez, the hinted, or the allegorical. Something unusual happens in the verse, or in the choice of words, or the choice of spelling. And it brings up questions. It brings up a lot of questions. It's hinting at something deeper. Then finally, you have the Dalid, which represents a drash of the Pardes. The drash is the expansion, the expanded meaning. It could be scientific, psychological. It could be everyday communication. That's where the real learning happens. Is the drash? Is how can we apply what we've learned and the hinted meanings, the symbolic meanings, the metaphorical meanings, and how might we apply this in everyday lives? So usually when you share Torah at a Shabbat table or in groups or to hear a rabbi speak, usually it's called a drash. It's pointing at this level of understanding. And finally, in Pardes, you have the samech at the end, and the samech represents sod. Sod represents the hidden, or the mystical, or this is the hidden knowledge, the hidden face of God. This is the beloved behind the curtain. And even when you get to that point of that closeness to the maiden, she's still wearing a veil. She's still behind a curtain. This Zohar passage we are learning, the parable of the maiden, this is the makor. This is the headquarters of that understanding. So if you've ever heard of the Pardes approach to Torah, its headquarters, this is it.
We're going to look in the Zohar itself to see the 4 levels. Come and see, such is the way of Torah. At first, meaning the peshat, the literal, when it begins to be revealed to man, it gives him a slight hint. That's remez, that's the hint, the second level. If he recognizes it, well, but if he does not, it sends for him and calls him a fool. The Zohar marks a turning point where it moves from literal interpretation into deeper symbolic meaning. And in this passage, it repeatedly contrasts the wise person with the fool. The Aramaic word used 3 times is petty, meaning small-minded, simplistic, or trapped in superficial understanding. As you've noticed, the word petty strangely resembles the same word in English. The Zohar's critique here is against becoming so focused on external forms and petty understanding that one loses sight of the deeper spiritual truths that the text and the overall faith is meant to reveal. We continue with the text for the next 2 levels. Afterwards, it speaks with him in riddles from behind a thin sheet. This is Haggadah. The Haggadah reflects a dimension of drash, truth concealed within parable and symbol, speaking through hints from behind a thin veil. When he frequents it, it is revealed to him face to face and tells him all the obscure secrets and obscure ways that were hidden in its heart since primordial days. This is the final level of Sod.
Now, Torah is the meeting place by which the lover and the maiden encounter each other. Of course, you can encounter the beloved one through life itself. And we should all do that in our lives, because even life itself has the different layers of meaning. But every time we open Torah, as we're doing right now, by exploring this parable, something in us wakes up. Something in us gets reminded of our path, our direction. There's a layer of truth that is revealed to us that we can integrate and apply to our lives. And that is, you're going back to the original question, why is it that when we have these moments of awakening or realization and we're of connection, of understanding and clarity, why is it only brief? Why does it go away? And now we understand it has to go away because of the way we're wired, because of the way the whole system works. The overexposure means we devalue things. Okay, and we need the hiddenness to build the distance, the window closed. We need that to develop the urgency, for the quest, the journey, the questions. And with all of that comes the growth and development.
Whether the window is open or closed, the task remains the same. To become seekers instead of spectators, to move beyond superficial religion and recover the living consciousness behind it, to not become fools in Torah, trapped only in argument, reaction, and external forms, but people who can still sense the presence hidden within the world, because the maiden is still there, still calling, still appearing between the curtains. And perhaps the greatest tragedy is not that God is hidden, but that we have forgotten how to look. So thank you very much for joining us today. A lot of people have been asking about the music in our videos, the soundtrack. We often feature songs with biblical themes, devotional themes. So just to let you know that those are all original pieces, or else I wouldn't be able to use them on the video, right? They're all original pieces from my wonderful beloved wife, Leah Batya. And so today we're going to give you a full song based on today's Torah topic. See you next lesson, and God bless from strength to strength. May Hashem walk with you always.
eyes are lifted, heart is true, only longing just for you. Then you open just a little, and my soul begins to rise. You open up your window, just a moment, then you go. Still my heart has seen your face, and I'm running to that place. You hide, but I will follow, through the silence, through the shadow. Every glimpse is calling me closer to your mystery. In your word you softly shine, hidden deep between the lines. Then you vanish from my sight, still I feel you in the light. I don't need to understand it, I just know you're drawing